Hiya, Julie. Welcome back onto the podcast. Oh, we're having some fun trying to line up the start of this recording, aren't we today?
I know.
It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
We are going to give everybody an update on your training at the end of month 2 for Ironman UK. And I'm going to give the listeners a little preview before we record. This is not going to be one of those, everything's fantastic and I'm feeling 100% and everything's going better than ever. We've had a little bit of illness over the last month, haven't we?
We have. And I wish I could, in a way, I wish I could say everything's been amazing and, it's all a bed of roses over here, but it's not been good. The first half of the month was great. And I was on a fantastic trajectory from last month. Training was going really well. First 2 weeks was brilliant, hitting all the targets, doing everything. And then half term, again, everything's fine during half term. We had to rejig the schedule a little bit, kids were at home all the time. So it was like, sadly I couldn't make the early mornings work because, for whatever reason. So I was doing late evening stuff. And then one of my kids got sick, which happens, they're basically bags of germs. And then I got sick. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. So I was absolutely fine during half term, Saturday fine, Sunday fine, Monday morning, woke up and I felt like, what is this? I had my neck was swollen. I was hot. I was just like, okay, so training is not happening today. And every Monday as part of this sort of Team Oxygenaddict sort of chats, we let everyone know how the week has gone, and so we fill them in and what we're looking forward to the next week. And so I sent in my message saying, yeah, week was great, but now I feel like death. So how do I adapt? So yeah, I got some good feedback, which says
there's a lot of it going around, isn't there,
yeah,
at the moment? And I'm sure you saw that in the group. There's a lot of people have got it. Andy's had it. I've got it. It seems like the half-term week at the end of the winter is when all the kiddies come home and just make all the mummies and daddies sick, right?
I know. And you know what I said, when I told the kids that I wasn't well, because mums generally, they're like, mums try not to get sick because then the whole world falls apart. But then I said to my youngest, I was like, oh, it's my turn to be sick now. And she was like, oh, I was sharing, mama. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Let's stick to sharing toys and let's keep the germs to ourselves, please.
Bless you.
I know.
So a bit of a disturbed week in terms of, obviously, you've got to have time off, haven't you, when you're not well, and you did that really well. You adapted and you accepted. So
I did. I accepted, and I certainly didn't feel like exercising. So last week I took off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Did nothing with any sort of heart rate above 100 because I couldn't. I did a couple of sessions of yoga once I started feeling okay to move my neck a bit because everything was still really swollen. And then Friday things started feeling a little bit better. So did an easy swim, did a very short 20-minute run. And even though I felt strong on the run, my heart rate was a bit higher than it would normally be, so which I figured is standard because I've just been unwell. So I'm just taking it easy end of easy pace running. That's fine. Saturday went out for a bike ride again, try to take it as easy as possible. Heart rate was still a bit elevated. Sunday easy run, and I just stuck with the easy end of things this week as well. It's now Wednesday, we're talking on Wednesday, and so Monday, Tuesday took it easy, didn't push myself, ready for today's delayed FTP test in the hope that having a few easy days things might settle down, heart rate would settle down. Woke up this morning with full of energy because I love these sort of fitness tests. I love to see what my body's capable of, and I'm happy to push myself through that physical pain barrier to see what I can do. And things started really, really well, hitting powers that I haven't done before for a time that I haven't done before. And I was like, yes, I've got this. I'm going to smash it. And then about halfway through, my lungs just gave up on me. And I was like, I haven't got it. That's the end. I had to lie down, and my heart rate, I couldn't calm it down. I just couldn't. So yeah, it's, I thought I'd taken things easy enough. Clearly my body says no. I went to the doctor this morning to be like, what's going on? you know, my daughter recovered in a week. Why can't I recover in a week? And she's like, you're still not recovered. Your glands are still swollen. Your heart rate's still elevated. Go home and rest. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, yes, ma'am. Doctor's orders. So that's where we are now. So
It's hard, isn't it?
Full rest. It is really
you've done
hard.
everything right. You took 3 or 4 days off. You were feeling better, and just sometimes I think our bodies don't recover from illness as quickly as we want them to.
No.
We don't know until we try exercising again, and
Yeah.
you know, you'll get over it in another week or so.
Yeah.
And I think the thing to remember is it's okay. Ironman UK still 16, 17 weeks away, and although it can feel like the end of the world, kind of, because it's like, why can I not be well now?
It's not that. It's like you say 16, 17 weeks as though that's like really far away. But I'm like, oh my God, it's only 16, 17 weeks away. Really? Oh,
well, I think a lot of people who are listening, they're going to be nodding along with this. And there's going to be a lot of people who've picked up the half-term bug as well. And I think it's a really important message to say, look, in terms of feeling the race is coming, 16 or 17 weeks isn't a long time. No. But in terms of 16 weeks of training with good health again, that's loads of time.
Yes, I know.
17 weeks of trying to push yourself when you're not well is going to be a bad outcome. So
terrible idea.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah, no, I know. And I know that I've got a good base behind me. Yeah, like not just the beginning of this year working with you and the Team Oxygenaddict people, but I know, you know, last year from all the training I did and all the endurance stuff I did with the marathon and the half distance event, that I know I've got the base. It's not easy to accept the time off, but I will do it because, as I said, coach's orders, doctor's orders. But you know, I know that it will be okay, and I will get back to it, and you know, we'll make it through. I'll be fine. Give it a little while. Give my body a good chance to recover.
Well, I was saying to you just before, we looked at your race ready score, didn't we? And since you've joined us, you've been hitting 95% plus every single week. And so your average 12-week score has been way up above our 75% average. That tells you you are going to be in shape to have a fantastic race. And it's really amazing when you look at that to see, once you've got your score, you know, consistently into the 80s, 1 week of doing nothing has had almost no impact at all on your average score. And although the feelings are, oh, I've had a week off and it feels like I've never trained, the facts show it's had barely any impact on your overall fitness again. And by race day, this will just be a blip that firstly you'll have forgotten about, but also it genuinely will have had almost no effect on your fitness, if not no effect on your fitness by that point.
Yeah. But I think if I handled this badly, I think it would have an effect. So if I didn't listen to you, doctor, my body, and went back, you know, and just carried on, I know that things would go south very quickly and I would lose all that time of training. So I know this is a good and needed thing. So yeah, I'm going to be doing it.
I think there's a difference, isn't there, between having the mental toughness to push through and train when you're tired compared to the mental toughness to accept that on the rare occasions when you're not healthy, you have to rest. That's the really difficult thing that our brains struggle with, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. And I think because I enjoy the training so much as well, and part of it, like I love the training just because it brings me pure enjoyment, but it's also quite a good stress relief for me. You know, we've got a lot going on. I work, I've got 3 kids, we're managing a building site at the moment, you know, like there's a lot going on, and going for a run or doing a swim or whatever is my way of like having my me time, whether it's at 5:30 in the morning or in the middle of the day when I can manage it. So that I'm going to have to find a different way, and you know, instead of trying to raise my heart rate, I'm going to try and lower my heart rate. And, you know, if I need to do some yoga, I'll do that, but you know, it's going to be,
well, I think it's something that a lot of athletes really struggle with when they're ill or injured, because all of a sudden, I think the me time aspect is really important, and it plays a big role in people's lives. And all of a sudden, when you kind of don't have that socially valid excuse of, I'm putting my running shoes on now and daddy's going for a run, I think we should, when we're ill, we should say, right, I'm putting my walking shoes on now and I'm going out for a walk in the forest for half an hour. And you still have that sort of the me time aspect without it needing to be a high intensity activity.
Yeah, Well, there's plenty of walking to be done around here, and I recently discovered there's a Woking Palace, so I'm going to go find Woking Palace and learn a bit about that and walk past that and see what we can do.
Yeah. Good.
But yeah, it will be good. And I know like one thing I've got to remember is like, this is a long game, just like the race is a long race. So when I was a kid, races, like you would train hours and hours and hours, and you would race. I would race for 5 minutes. So like, and then it's done, you know, it's like all out max effort, 5 minutes and you're finished. Like you are literally like completely finished by the end of it. But, you know, this is a very different game. I've got to think long term. And if I push through this too much, I'm going to damage my chances in the long term for a much longer race.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
100%. Long game. There you go. Wise words, Julie. Wise words. Right, but listen, we wish you all the best in your recovery to full health. And I'm sure that by the time of our next catch up in a month's time, you are going to be back to full strength, and we can hear about the massive gains you've had in your tests on the next call.
Fingers crossed, eh?
All right, well, brilliant. Listen, thanks very much on behalf of Ironman Europe and Team Oxygenaddict. It's been great catching up with you, and get yourself well. We shall speak to you again in another month.